This is why you can't focus anymore. Have you noticed something strange? You sit down to do one simple thing, just one, and somehow, 10 minutes later, you're doing 5 different things, and none of them fully. Nothing urgent happened, nothing dramatic. Your attention just slipped. Most people think this means they're lazy, or unfocused, or broken. But what if that's not true? What if your inability to focus isn't a personal failure at all? What if it was trained? Think about a normal day. You open one app, a notification pulls you away. You forget why you opened it. You scroll, you switch, you check again. Not because you need to, because your hand moves before your mind does. Even silence feels uncomfortable now. Waiting feels heavy. Doing one thing feels wrong. This isn't rare behavior. It's normal. And that's the most important detail. We usually explain this in simple ways. We're addicted to phones. Social media destroyed attention. Technology ruined focus. Those explanations feel satisfying. They give us something to blame. But they miss something deeper. Because if phones alone destroyed focus, you would notice the damage immediately. Instead, this happened slowly, quietly, so quietly that it feels natural. Attention isn't something you have. It's something you practice. Whatever you do repeatedly, your brain becomes efficient at doing. If you practice deep focus, your mind adapts to depth. If you practice constant switching, your mind adapts to fragmentation. Modern life doesn't ask for your attention once. It asks for it again and again and again. Short bursts, small rewards, frequent interruptions. Over time, your brain learns a simple rule. Staying feels less rewarding than switching. And once learned, that rule feels normal. Look around. Everything competes to be noticed. Apps refresh endlessly. Messages arrive without warning. Content is designed to interrupt, not finish. Nothing is built to respect your focus. Not because of evil intent, but because attention is valuable. So your environment becomes a training ground, not for depth, but for responsiveness. You're not encouraged to stay with a thought. You're rewarded for reacting. And slowly, without realizing it, your mind adjusts. Here's the cruel part. When focus disappears, we blame ourselves. I should try harder. I lack discipline. Others can focus. Why can't I? But this isn't about effort. It's about conditioning. You don't blame a trained reflex. You don't shame a learned habit. Yet we shame ourselves for behaving exactly as our environment trained us to behave. It feels like you're choosing to check. But most of the time, the choice happens after the action. Your hand moves, then your mind explains why. That's not weakness, that's automation. When a behavior is practiced often enough, it stops asking permission. And the more automated it becomes, the more invisible it feels. That's why this doesn't feel like control. It feels like normal life. Here's the most important thing to understand. Your mind isn't damaged. Your focus isn't gone forever. It adapted exactly as it was designed to. The problem isn't that you can't focus. The problem is that your environment never asks you to. And skills that aren't used don't disappear. They go quiet. So if you've been feeling scattered, restless, unable to stay with one thought, you're not failing. You're responding. This isn't about fixing yourself. It's about noticing the signal. Because once you see how attention is trained, you start seeing modern life differently. And this was just the first signal. If this felt familiar, you might want to stay. More signals are coming.